Hello, welcome back to another episode of Noteworthy. This is your co-host Claire with our other co-host Abby.
Hi.
And today we have a very special guest. We are talking about our Little Women musical and also a little bit about this special guest's music career. So without further ado, do you want to announce our special guest, Abby?
Sure. Everyone, please welcome Brandon, also known as ASAP Big.
Hello.
Hi, Brandon. Thank you so much for being with us today. We are so excited to hear about your experience in Little Women so far and also about the music career that you have. Do you want to give us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Brandon. I am known by the stage name Big. I make rap music, and it is on Apple Music and Spotify. I'm also on SoundCloud. I just dropped an album. I'm involved in the drama club by way of being the treasurer. So I manage the finances for drama club, and we're doing Little Women this year, and that's my involvement with the drama club, I think, as far as I know.
Awesome. We're really excited to hear more about your rap music later, but first we will talk about Little Women. So you mentioned that you are a cast member in Little Women. I'm really curious, do you have the cast list that we can announce?
Yes, I do. Do you want me to just run down the list?
Sure, yeah.
Right, okay. So, first we have Jacqueline as Jo, Claire as Meg, Abby as Beth, Amy in Act 1 is Antonella, and Amy in Act 2 is Grace. Marmee is Maeve. Aunt March is Katie. Professor Bear is myself. Lori is Justice. John Brooke is Kyle. Mr. Lawrence is Jeremy. Mrs. Kirk is Madison. Clarissa is Emily. Braxton is Timothy. The Knight is Greg. Rodrigo 1 is Evan, and Rodrigo 2 is Nora. The Hag is Cass. The Troll is Sophie, and we have a few ensemble members. They are Julia, Lucas, Daisy, Daniel, Abigail, and Tyler.
Hey, look at that. Sounds like we're all in the musical together. How fun is that?
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds like all three of us are in it.
Yes. No, that's a really exciting cast list. I think we have so much talent, and we have so many seniors too that are so talented, and they all have pretty great roles. So for anyone at home, you're just hearing all of these character names, but Brandon or Abby, do you want to give a little background on like the general plot of Little Women?
We could tag team this, Brandon, because I'm not sure how successful I would be at doing it by
Okay.
myself.
Well, you go ahead first, and I'll add on.
Okay. But basically, there are these 4 sisters, the March sisters, and it's during the Civil War, is it not? I think it's the Civil War. And their dad is off at war, in fact. And so they live with their mom in this nice looking-ish house. I don't know. It looked nice to me. And it's basically about their life and what they go through. They have a neighbor. A young boy moves in, and they befriend him. And yeah. Brandon, what else?
Well, it's kind of like Jo's story, almost. Jo is the oldest sister. Yeah.
She's the second oldest, but I would say she's the main character in the musical.
The main, yeah.
Yeah, so Jo is the second oldest sister, and it's kind of like her story, because she goes to New York and, like, lives in, like, a boarding house, but that's only part of it. And the whole story is basically a flashback. But yeah, and she meets my character at the boarding house, and I think that's all I can probably tell you without spoiling it. But yeah, it's basically about the sisters.
Yes, no spoilers, but it's going to be really good.
It is. We're very excited. I know the plot line probably did not seem as appealing as us describing it just then, but I swear it's a very funny and entertaining show. I think a lot of people were skeptical, but there's a lot of good stuff about it, and you were not going to regret it if you come and watch it.
Yes, and the music is so good too.
Definitely. All right, so we've talked a little bit about the plot and the cast. I think it's good time now to ask how you're rehearsing it, how we're putting together this show with the current circumstances that is the pandemic. So if Brandon and Claire both want to talk about that, that would be cool.
Yeah, sure. So, right now we are only doing virtual rehearsals because we haven't been approved by our board yet to do in-person rehearsals, and that's something that needs to be approved. However, we are trying to get in-person rehearsals be possible because we'd like to rehearse in person, and we'd also like to record it and stuff like that in the case that we won't be able to perform it in person. And so we're kind of trying to work towards getting an in-person rehearsal.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to say it is challenging to practice virtually and rehearse because of the lag, and you can't really sing with other people. So when we go through our songs, we, unmute, mute, sing our lines, and then mute again. And there is lag. It's very difficult. But one good thing is that our rehearsal schedule is very flexible.
Yeah.
Our director, she's very flexible. She lets us, instead of having our set rehearsals in person like we usually would, it's more of, okay, when can we work on this? And so that's really nice having that flexibility at home. But I can't wait till we're in person because it's going to be so much fun.
I totally agree. I think too, what makes it hard is that it's so individual. Like, you have to do a lot of your own learning and practicing, which is fine. We all can do that. We have done that for our stuff in the past, but I think it's harder this time because we're used to being able to do it all together as a group for most of the time versus less of the time. So we're making it through now, but I think we're all very excited for the chance to go back.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited.
If we are so graced with that opportunity.
For sure. So, Brandon, what's the plan right now for the actual performance? Is it in person? Is it virtual?
Well, right now our plan is to do an outdoor concert style type of performance at at an outdoor venue on West Point.
Awesome.
However, not everything's set in stone. I think the pandemic has kind of taught us that.
Yeah.
But, that's the current plan for what we're going with right now.
Awesome.
I think an outdoor show would be very fun. I think also it'll be nice to do something different than what we've done in the past. So that's cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's a really great point, Abby. So I think that's pretty much it for Little Women for now. We will keep you all updated as we move through our rehearsal process and then the performance. But I'm so excited to hear about Brandon's personal music because not many O'Neill students can say that, as a high schooler, they're out there making music, getting it on Apple Music and Spotify.
Oh, thank you.
So first, do you want to tell us, what kind of music do you make and how did you get started with this?
Well, I make rap music. I started out my freshman year. I wrote a diss track on someone. So that's basically how I started out. I started out in a duo as well. It wasn't just me. It was the two of us. And then as kind of time went on, I wanted to make music and this person no longer wanted to. So I kind of branched off and started working on music by myself. And it's primarily rap music. I'm trying to branch off a little bit, but it's primarily rap at the moment.
Yeah, that's really great. It's really impressive, and I can say that I've listened to some of your music, and
So have I.
Yeah, I think it's super catchy. You got good lyrics and good rhythm. I heard that you just dropped a new album. Is that so?
Yes, I did. The album is called Birth. It's 10 tracks. It's 8 songs with a intro and an interlude. I'm pretty proud of it. It's my first album on Apple Music and Spotify. It's probably my most successful project to date. It's been doing very well so far, and I'm very happy about that. I'm very appreciative of, the fans and the people who listen to my stuff.
Hey, that's awesome. I mean, just to add on to what Claire said, it's pretty amazing. No other O'Neill student that I could think of can, say that about their music. And
Right.
I don't know, it sounds successful, so that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So Brandon, how do you record and then produce your music?
So I record on just a standard mic and laptop configuration. I have my mic in front of me. It's just it's an Audio Technica USB mic. And then I have my laptop, which is just an HP Chromebook, and I use a software called BandLab, and I'll record on top of a beat on BandLab, and that's how it is produced. My audio files are usually a WAV format. I don't really mess with the MP3 or the MP4, so I usually use a WAV format because it's uncompressed, and I like that. So that's usually how I record it.
That sounds very cool, very interesting. And it's good that you figured something out that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like you've learned how to be really creative with this.
Right.
And it is, again, really impressive that you do this at home and you make up your own lyrics, and it sounds really great. Mm-hmm. So I know that your music is on bigger platforms like Apple
Right.
Music and Spotify. And I'm just really curious, how do you go about getting your music on those platforms? What is the process like?
Yeah.
Right. So obviously you can't just post to Apple Music or Spotify. That's not a feature built into their apps. So you have to get in contact with a distributor, and then your distributor sends your music to them and reviews it. So basically, in order to get your music on Apple Music or Spotify, you need a specific it's sort of a specific contract with them. And these distributors have the contracts with those companies, so they'll distribute the music for you. And a lot of services did distribute. There's DistroKid, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. But I use SoundCloud Premium. SoundCloud Premium, they work with a program called Repost, and Repost is the thing that distributes. So I'll send my music to SoundCloud. They'll take a day or so, sometimes 3 or 4 days, but it's very quick. They'll review my music, make sure everything's looking good in terms of copyright, and make sure everything that I'm doing I own.
Right.
Yeah.
And then once it's approved, it can go out to whatever distributor I select. I get to choose what I get to choose what platforms I send it out to, and then they distribute it to those platforms. And once it's distributed to those platforms, I don't control anything past sending my music in, basically.
Okay, yeah. That's really awesome to hear, because as the viewer or the listener, it's just so easy. You just go on your app, you search the name, you have the song, and boom, you're listening to the music. But you don't realize the process behind it, so
Right.
it's really cool to get that perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
It definitely is. So, that's just really cool. I can't stop thinking about how cool that is. So Brandon, what do you want to do with your music? Do you want to make a career out of it, or do you think as you move on in life and go to college that it's going to be more of a hobby than a career?
Obviously, yes, I would like to make a career out of it.
Yeah.
I think anyone would if they were really passionate about what they were doing. I think anyone would, but
Right.
I think for right now, in the terms of what my future's currently looking like, it's probably going to be a hobby. I'm still very passionate about it, and I'm still going to continue to produce, probably the best I can do, but,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be the moneymaker for now.
Well, that's a good way to carry on, as long as you are passionate about it. I agree. I think you can do anything with it. So that's a good plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Brandon. And, we could talk about Brandon and his music all day, but you all need to go out and actually listen to his songs because they're really great. And it's a really cool thing to say that Brandon, like as a high schooler, is getting his music on Spotify and Apple Music and doing what he loves. It's really inspirational. So we will put the link to Brandon's music. You can get it through Apple Music or Spotify or whatever major platform you have. And we'll put that link into the description of this episode's YouTube video. So after you're done listening to this podcast, go support Brandon and check out his music.
For sure.
Thank you, guys.
No problem. Well, I think that's everything that we have today. We are so excited. We're so grateful that you could join us today, Brandon, and be able to talk to us about the musical and about your music. So thank you from your Noteworthy cast.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me.
But yeah, I think that's everything we're going to say today. So, Claire, take it away.
Yes, thank you again, Brandon. And thank you all for listening to today's Noteworthy episode. Stay tuned. In the future, we will have another special guest who can bring another perspective to our music and drama podcast. So thanks again, Brandon. It was awesome to hear about your music and to hear about Little Women.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.